Hey guys, thanks for tuning us in for this 44th episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests for this episode include Johnny Weir and his dance pro Britt, talking about this season of Dancing with the Stars. We'll also visit with Wayne Nelson, you know him as lead singer of the Little River Band. Robert Davi, the actor, will be talking about his new movie, Blackjack, the Jack Ryan story, and he will also talk a little bit about his latest music. We'll also visit with actor Michael Paré about his new movie, Middleton Christmas. And wrapping up the show will be country singer and songwriter Breckin Miles. He'll be talking about his new single, Megan. Might see if we can even perform for us as well. Again, thanks so much to Brandon Allen, who put together the music for the podcast. Appreciate that addition to the podcast. Also want to say thanks to our sponsor for today's podcast, Smiley's Breezy Vapes. Of course, they're located at 313 Falcon Road here in Altus. They have red basket specials on their disposables. Check in with them on Facebook. You can also give them a call or send a text at 580-471-VAPE. That's 580-471-8273. Well, our first guest, Johnny Weir and his dance pro, Britt, going to be talking about the latest season on Dancing with the Stars. First off, Johnny and Britt, thank you so much for taking the time.
It's our pleasure.
Now, first off, Britt, I'm going to ask you, what was your first thought whenever you heard that Johnny was your partner?
I went through an array of emotions finding out Johnny was my partner. First of all, I was just beyond thrilled. And then I was shocked that Dancing with the Stars had given me him for my
Again,
first
this episode brought to you by Smiley's Breezy Vapes at 313 Falcon Road. Give them a call or send them a text at 580-471-VAPE. That's 580-471-8273. Do want to remind you, doors are now open with protective plexiglass, and masks are required, for you, to cover your nose how has your comfort level on the dance floor improved? The largest selection of disposable flavors in Southwest coming on the show to where you're at today. How much is the difference? Falcon Road here in Altus.
Incredible.
Up next is lead singer of the Little River Band, Wayne Nelson, talking about their latest release.
Our Viennese Waltz from last week. 8 weeks into this competition, and I'm so proud of the work that I've done, but I'm so proud of the relationship that Britt and I have built, and that we leave everything we've got on the dance floor. The whole goal of this competition for me is to entertain people. Of course, in the summertime with the pandemic, I was supposed to be on tour in Japan, followed by the Olympics in Japan, working for NBC, and my summer was completely deleted, essentially. So as an entertainer, that's a really precarious position to be in, not only work-wise, but also emotionally. I lived to make people smile and to entertain them. So coming on the show was just such a perfect moment for me. But the expectations are high on figure skaters on Dancing with the Stars. We have several winners, and skaters always score well and do well in the competition. But unlike most figure skaters, I don't have a dance training background. I never had the extra funds growing up to skate and to take ballet or jazz or modern or ballroom dancing to enhance my skating ability. So every bit of artistry that I have on the dance floor comes from within and comes from the skills that I learned while I was skating and training and performing at the Olympics. So for me, my expectations on myself are always huge. I'm competitive. I'm a perfectionist. But to see it play out on a national stage in front of millions of people every Monday night has been just so fulfilling and so enriching. And whether I win or lose this thing, I know that people have enjoyed our performances, and that's why I've signed on.
And Johnny, how nerve-wracking is it at getting up in front of the judges and going through the critiques each week? How difficult is that for you now?
Well, I think of any of the contestants, I am the most I've been judged the most in my life. And whether it was on the ice or off it, I have dealt with being judged my entire life. And one thing you realize is whether it's in your normal life or in the middle of the ice at the Olympics, I can't control what other people think or say about me. So I kind of put that in the back of my mind. Of course, I want great scores. Of course, I want, the millions of American judges out there to support Britt and I. But after the dance is over, my work is done, and I just have to let go of the rest of the situation. I can't strong-arm the judges into giving me 10s every week. So the critiques are not as bad as they may seem, and every critique that we get from the judges, I try to use in our training and really break down the dances and get better from the critiques from the judges, because they're the judges for a reason. They're professional dancers and luminaries in this world, and every bit of information they can give me can help me.
That's right. Now, Britt, what do you see as the biggest challenge in the coming weeks for Johnny? Is there any specific dance that you think poses the biggest challenge?
You know what? I think that there will be some dance styles that are challenging. I think in this process we've learned that Johnny really excels at the slower tempoed songs and surprisingly the ballroom dances as well, where he's in frame, and he really excelled in the Viennese waltz last week as well. So I think looking forward to that, I think having those sort of performances will excel us. And then I think for us, our greatest challenge too is making sure that we get those votes every Monday. And I believe that we consistently bring strong performances. And so hopefully that can continue, and that will be reflected in the judges' scoring and then the votes. And then I think we should make it all the way. At least we're hoping.
And Britt, you mentioned it. I'll let you go ahead with, if folks want to vote for Britt and Johnny come on Monday night. How are they going to do that for you?
So everyone can vote a total of 20 times. You can vote 10 times by texting Johnny to 21523 and 10 times online at dwtsvote.abc.com.
And Johnny, what do you see as being the biggest challenge in the coming weeks for you?
Well, the competition is very fierce because of COVID and the bubbling that Dancing with the Stars has us in. So Britt and I are the only people that we see without masks. We're the only people that we're in close contact with, and the other couples are practicing the same social distancing from the rest of the world. We're tested constantly, but because of all of those restrictions, we're able to focus solely on the dancing and solely on our performances. So I think this might be the highest level of competition that Dancing with the Stars has ever seen, and it comes down to the fact that we aren't distracted by a million other things happening. Because, all of the celebrity contestants have day jobs. We've got real things that we do with our lives. So the fact that we can focus on this so wholeheartedly makes everyone better and makes the competition stronger. So I don't see my dances as a challenge, because that is my happy place. That is where I feel the most comfortable, is when I'm out there dancing with Britt, and this beautiful relationship that we've performed and the trust levels that we have for one another. The challenge is going to come from outside things that I can't control. So whether Kaitlyn Bristowe has a great week and is getting 10s and looks like the favorite, or Justina Machado looks like the favorite that week. I mean, there is no clear favorite at this point, and that is the most challenging part. So we need people to vote for us on Monday nights to make sure that we make it to that final.
There you go. And Johnny and Britt, I always want to make sure and let our listeners know where they can also keep up with everything social media wise. Britt, I'll let you go first.
Yes, my social media on Instagram is at Britt Benae, BrittBenae, and then Twitter is at Britt C. Stewart.
And for me, my Instagram and Twitter handles are at Johnny, Johnnny, G like girl, Weir. So Johnny G. Weir, and then, of course, Johnny Weir on Facebook is my official fan page. So we're definitely very active, and we're trying to get better through this process at our social media, because both of us are kind of like grandmas, and we like talking face-to-face and making phone calls more so than Insta stories. But I think we've gotten better, Britt, haven't we?
We've gotten so much better. We're doing these weekly Saturday Q&As where we can let in on fans all things Team Brigeau, and we have gotten better. These grandmas have started to excel at the social media platforms.
Well, guys, Johnny and Britt, it has been great to visit with you guys this morning. Hope you guys have a great Halloween weekend, and look forward to Monday night.
Thank you so much.
Again, this episode brought to you by Smiley's Breezy Vapes at 313 Falcon Road. Give them a call or send them a text at 580-471-VAPE. That's 580-471-8273. Do want to remind you, doors are now open with protective plexiglass, and masks are required, though, to cover your nose and your mouth. They do have new hardware available, plus the largest selection of disposable flavors in Southwest Oklahoma. Smiley's Breezy Vapes, 313 Falcon Road, here in Altus. Up next is lead singer of the Little River Band, Wayne Nelson, talking about their latest release. Wayne, always good to visit with you, my friend.
Same here, and there's certainly a lot to flash back on after 45-year career of Little River Band, so it's my pleasure, man.
And you guys have a brand new digital single commemorating Veterans Day, the Lost and the Lonely. And Wayne, first off, tell us about the inspiration for the new single.
Lost and the Lonely came to us a few years ago, and I was immediately struck with the power of the music, the power of the and certainly the power of the message. The Lost and the Lonely is a song which honors the choice that young people make to join the military in the first place. If you think about life as normal in any community, any family, whatever, and through the front door comes son or daughter to announce they're going to join the military, and they're doing it because they want to go and make a difference and defend freedom. And just think about it. You don't join the military to go to Nebraska or to Oklahoma. You join the military to go around the world to defend people who you don't even know, from other countries, other cultures, other walks of life. It is a huge choice. It is of global importance, and I was immediately struck by that message, that this is a part of that whole process that gets taken for granted. You know, suddenly the person's in uniform, they've got all the machinery, they're on their way, they're being flown, they're being deployed, they're coming home, but nobody's focused on that moment when they choose to make the call and let the whole family know, their friends, I'm leaving, I'm going to go try to do my best. It's huge. And that's the part of it that struck me the most, the personal part of saying, I'm going to put my life on the line for people I've never met, but this is the way it has to be.
And this comes off of the album Black Tie, which is coming up for release next month as well. And tell our listeners, I think this is great, getting the orchestra involved in some of the greatest hits. Tell our listeners a little bit about the making of that project as well.
Well, I was in a conversation with an old friend, the drummer from Kansas. His name's Phil Ehart, and he said he mentioned that he was off to rehearse with the orchestra of the day. And he said, you should add some orchestral arrangements to Little River Band's music. I got a guy, and he can listen to the tracks, listen to the songs live, and come up with the charts, etc. It's a great idea. That would really work with Little River Band's music. There's no question. So I got on the bus and I polled the band. I said, what do you think? Should we tackle this? And our keyboard player says, you don't have to hire somebody else. I can do them. And I was a bit shocked. And he said, yeah, I studied orchestration in college. Let's do it. And I said, okay, let's do it. So he locked himself away for a month or so and came up with orchestrations for the entire range of Little River Band's hits. And then along comes, a new CD where he had to orchestrate some new songs as well, including The Lost and the Lonely. And they have perfectly accented the emotion and the feeling of each of the songs. If you think about Little River Band's hits, you've got the reminiscing Lady in Cool Change section. You've got the Night Owls Help Us on Its Way section. You even got the Happy Anniversary, funk, a little bit of R&B disco thing. Chris found a way to put the orchestral touch on all of those songs to highlight the feeling within each of those individual songs. So when the audience sees and hears this with, people dressed in black and white looking good and classy amongst us hippies, it really takes the show to a different place, and people are really loving it. We have not brought it to Oklahoma yet, but I look forward to that as soon as we can get COVID off our backs. We've got 3 or 4 shows rescheduled actually, to come to Oklahoma next year, and I'm sure one or more of them could work with the orchestra coming in and joining us. So I hope we get to do that.
That's awesome. Now, Wayne, if folks want to find out more information about the new album, the new single, and everything else you guys got going on, where would they do that?
Well, first of all, there's all the regular Facebook, LittleRiverBand.com, Twitter, Instagram, et cetera, but in order to focus in on the new stuff, we are paired up with Time Life, and Time Life has put this single this week, today, as a matter of fact, and the CD in 2 weeks. It's going to be on every digital outlet that people know. So wherever they get their downloads from Pandora to Apple to Spotify, et cetera, around the world, go to your favorite digital platform. It should be there. If it's not, go to LittleRiverBand.com and tell us that you can't find it, and we'll figure it out. But it's a new world, and from one source, this is being released today around the world. That's the way to do it.
There you go. Well, Wayne, always good to visit with you, my friend. I hope you have a great weekend. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Cameron, thank you. It's great to talk to you this morning. Take care.
Do want to again say thanks to Smiley's Breezy Vapes sponsoring this podcast. They do have their doors open now with protective plexiglass, but please, masks are required to cover your nose and mouth. They have red basket specials on disposables. Check in on their Facebook to find out when they have that next time. Otherwise, just stop in and see them at 313 Falcon Road in Altus. Smiley's Breezy Vapes. You can also visit them online, smileysbreezyvapes.com, or on Facebook. Stop by and see them, 313 Falcon Road here in Altus. Smiley's Breezy Vapes. Up next, always known as a villain in most movies that I've seen him in, Robert Davi got a new movie, Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story we'll be talking about. First off, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Well, I want to thank you for having me on. Thanks so much, Cameron.
Now, Robert got a new movie out, Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story, that's in select theaters, also on VOD available now. And Robert, tell if folks haven't seen the trailer, the previews, a little bit about the new film.
Yeah, well, Danny Bicazza, a friend of mine, directed it. We did a couple of films together, The Iceman, and then we did Club Life and Mob Town, which came out last year. He's a terrific actor-director, but he directed this film. It's a true story based on Jackie Ryan. Now, it's called Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story. Jackie Ryan is the greatest street basketball player that ever came out of Brooklyn, who had a Irish guy that had a bit of a conflict within himself, and he never made it to the pros because of his own inner demons. And this is a redemption film, and he wound up later on falling in love and then getting his stuff together, and he plays with the Harlem Wizards. But he created moves on the court that the best players in basketball, let's say from Magic to, it was legendary about Jackie Ryan's moves on the street basketball court. So it's this journey of this character, Jackie Ryan, true story.
And for you to be able to step away from being known as a villain, is being a villain, is that kind of fun and kind of a release for you, if you will?
Well, I played Humphrey Bogart and Mitchum. They played tough guys. I don't call them villains. I call them tough guys. And I did a show called Profiler that was on NBC for 4 years, which really created crime drama like CSI and Without a Trace and Criminal Minds. It was before all of those shows. We were the father of those shows. And I was the head of the FBI who created Profile, profiling, and I saved more lives. Let me put it this way, Cameron, than I killed. And and I played Bailey Malone in that show, who was an Irish FBI agent. And this, I go back to my Irish roots, and I play a Father Brennan, an Irish priest. You know, it's a small cameo, but I wanted to, you know, show people, wait a second, I can, and Danny, as a director, had fun, you know, having me go cast against type and this little cameo for the picture of playing the priest of Jackie Ryan. So it's a lot of fun. The picture, the film is enjoyable. It's like I say, a redemption film, and
probably
and an Italian kid plays an Irish priest. So there you go.
There you go. It's probably a redemption story. That's what everybody could use right now, right, Robert?
Absolutely, something uplifting, you know, and it's one of the reasons why I released. I don't know if you know I sing, Cameron, but I released a single about a month ago called "The House I Live In." I did my first film with Frank Sinatra in 1977. Was a friend of his, and I then did an album that went to number 6 on Billboard Jazz, and have been touring the world, singing and doing the Great American Songbook, which I think is the Shakespeare of America, the golden age of America, when we had a more romantic, let's say, world where we could tolerate each other a little better. And I think that the music had to do a lot to do with it. And so The House I Live In, Sinatra received a special Oscar for in 1945. And I wanted to remind people what it answers the question, Cameron, what is America to me? And it's a stunning song, great arrangement done by Chris Walden, who has gotten 11 Grammys and did Streisand and Bennett and Diana Krall and Bublé and, you know, you name it, he's written arrangements for it. He's a modern day Gordon Nelson Riddle. But please check it out when you get a chance, Cameron.
I will. And Robert, was music the original first love for you?
It was concurrent. I loved language, and we discovered I had a singing voice. And I think it was something that, you know, my grandmother sang in Italy, and there was always music around the house. My mother loved to sing. My dad wanted to sing at one point when he was younger, right after the Navy. He went in the Navy after Pearl Harbor. He enlisted. But and then came out to Hollywood, actually, to try to do something with that. Never worked out for him, but it did for me. And I had a strong passion for the opera. I won first place in New York State School Music Association solo competition as a kid in high school, and then went to Florence and studied, and then subsequently studied the last several years. I directed a film called The Dukes, where I sang one song. Me, Chaz Palminteri, and Peter Bogdanovich were in it. Great director. And won 9 awards. And that, I was encouraged by a lot of people to go back to the music, which I did. And subsequently, you know, I got rave reviews, and the album went to number 6. And I've been around the world, Cameron, from Estonia to Latvia to Sweden to Australia to China to Macau. The United Nations chose me to sing for their transformative power of music. Across America, I've sung, and as I said, Quincy Jones brought 17 people to one of my shows, and then left a wonderful message and endorsement on his Facebook page for me. And I've had 3,000 people in Budapest, 6,000 in Estonia, you know, 2,000 in Finland, and on and on and on, Australia.
That's good stuff. Now, Robert, again, the new movie is available now, Blackjack, the Jackie Ryan story, and also want to let folks know where they can go and find out more about your music as well, sir.
Yes, well, all streaming platforms have Blackjack, so you can get that now. It comes out November 1st. It may be out now, but it comes out, and you can get it on all streaming platforms. You know, the iTunes is great, Amazon, you know, wherever you can get films, it'll be out on demand. And my album is on Amazon, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. It's I have a couple of Christmas songs out there. I've got another tribute to it's called Davi Sings Sinatra on the Road to Romance is the album that Phil Ramone produced, one of the greatest record producers of all time. And The House I Live In, that single is out there. I wish you would check that out because it's such an important song. And it has a tremendous history because, I'm sure you know about that song there, Cameron.
Yeah, that is good stuff. And again, check out on all streaming platforms. And Robert, great to visit with you again this morning, sir. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will be checking out that music as well.
I'd appreciate that, Cameron.
Again, this episode brought to you by Smiley's Breezy Vapes at 313 Falcon Road. Give them a call or send them a text at 580-471-VAPE. That's 580-471-8273. Do want to remind you, doors are now open with protective plexiglass, and masks are required, though, to cover your nose and your mouth. They do have new hardware available, plus the largest selection of disposable flavors in Southwest Oklahoma. Smiley's Breezy Vapes, 313 Falcon Road, here in Altus. Our next guest, Michael Paré. Remember him from Eddie and the Cruisers? Well, we'll be talking about his new movie, Middleton Christmas. First off, Michael, always good to visit with you, my friend.
Good to be here. Good to be in Oklahoma.
And Michael, we talked about the new work, and you're working along with Eileen Davidson, among others, on the new film, Middleton Christmas. Tell us a little bit about the new film.
Yeah, Middleton Christmas. I play a single dad with PTSD, and my son turns 18, and his first act as an adult is to donate his kidney to his girlfriend, who just got in a car accident. So it's really a heartwarming story about good parenting and heroic children and Christmas. Eileen Davidson is the principal of the school where I am I'm the janitor, but what is that called? They call it an engineer.
Custodial engineer.
Maintenance engineer. Yeah, I'm the maintenance engineer of a private high school, and that's how I get pay for my son's tuition. But, it's just really a great little story, and we end up with a big high school Christmas production. And that's an original song. This is our Christmas song that Suzanne De Laurentiis wrote, who's the producer of the show. And, come on, if you start to feel depressed, this is definitely going to bring up your spirits and make you feel like, life is pretty good.
and I think that's something we're all having to find is where the good lies, and hopefully we've been able to find a little bit of that in our alone time this year, right?
Yeah, right. Well, if you're not happy alone, you're in trouble.
That's right. Now, Michael, the cast on Middleton Christmas and now going out doing the marketing. I mean, how much different is putting a project out this year as opposed to anything you've done before?
Well, there's a lot more people are staying home a lot more by choice or by demand, or by edict, I guess. I don't know what you would say, but so there's a lot more television. People can't go to the movie theaters, so streaming and DVDs and stuff like that is where it's happening. So, getting out there and getting people aware of what's available. I don't notice that many. They don't advertise movies anymore.
Yeah, there's not a lot of those. That's for sure. Now, being worked on an independent indie release, if you will, how much different is the process from the actor standpoint, working on an independent film that's being put up?
The process for the actor is the same. I mean, no matter what the budget on the movie is, it comes down to hitting your mark, make sure you're in the light, and giving a performance. It's like, if you do a play, it doesn't matter how big the venue is. It's still the same job. However, because it's a smaller independent production, there's less conferencing going on. There's usually one or two people making the major decisions. The producer and the director and the writer are about it. And there's not a studio and distributor and advertisers who are all chiming in on what we really want to see in this movie. It's more of an artsy endeavor. It's like doing a little play, actually.
And whenever you get a new character, a new role, how long does it take you to start feeling comfortable in the skin of the new character?
Well, you want to get the script as soon as possible, but that's not always possible. But Suzanne pitched this story to me about 2 months before we shot it. And the idea of a single dad with PTSD who's working as a janitor in a private high school, you just kind of get your head around that. And then when I got the script about a week later, and I realized, oh my goodness, look what happens in this story. It just drew me in. It wasn't really that much work as, just letting myself absorb what was actually going to happen. It's at that point where my son is becoming an adult. And, often family, this is where parents have their out, where you're going to punch your son and find out that he could probably knock you out, But in this story, it's like his first act as an adult is an incredibly selfless, generous thing. I don't want to give it away, but he donates his kidney to his girlfriend who gets in a car accident. That's a very heroic and courageous thing to do at 18.
That's right. And again, Michael, if folks want to find out more information and also pick up the new film Middleton Christmas, where can they find more information?
I guess on the internet, it's Uncorked Entertainment. Yeah, Uncorked Entertainment is releasing it. It's going to be on DVD, and John will tell you. There's a link. I'm kind of internet savvy. Come on, we're talking on Zoom. But, things happen a little differently. I can't just say, it's at AMC across America.
Well, it is Middleton Christmas. It's available on video on demand and all of the other platforms as well. I can promise you that. I do know that one, Michael. But
that's it. Video on demand.
There you go. Well, Michael Paré, always great to visit with you, my friend. Looking forward to the new film, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon, my friend.
Hey, have some nice holidays here in Oklahoma.
Well, guys, our final guest on today's podcast is country singer, songwriter, Breckin Miles. We've gone back a few years. I think this is, like we mentioned, the first time face-to-face, so even though it's not in person. But Breckin, thanks for taking some time today, brother.
No, thanks for having me guys on here. It's awesome.
Now, Breckin, this year, 2020, the Zooms, the phone marketing and all that stuff, how much has the landscape changed for country music for you this year?
Well, to give you, for instance, I had to build this wall behind me. Man, it's been crazy. The beginning of the year, it started out with a bang, right? January, February, it was great, playing a lot of shows, kicking off the new year on an awesome note. And then all of a sudden this COVID stuff hit and everything just stopped, right? And so I have a lot of quote unquote FaceTime with my computer and my cell phone with talking with fans and doing a bunch of different podcasts and playing some live shows and stuff like that. And it's, when the restrictions kind of lifted again, it was great because I was literally got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore because I can't see anybody's face. Like I'm staring at myself singing songs. I'm like, I can do that in the mirror if I want to. So that was awesome. And now it's kind of going, it's like this teeter-totter, flu season's right here now. And so people are like, is it COVID? Is it flu? We don't know. Let's shut everything back down again. It's like, okay, well, come end of November, December, all my gigs are canceled again. It's like, well, what's up?
So what is, how does Halloween look for you this year?
Man, so Halloween is always a blast. I'm actually not playing this time around. I played the last couple of years. My wife and I are, let me rephrase this. My wife is very big into the spiritual, like mediums and stuff like that. And so we're having a little get together at our house on tomorrow, Halloween. And we have a medium coming over and she's going to tell us pretty much how messed up our place is and, how many ghosts are around and do some tarot card readings and stuff like that. I'm like, we can do it outside. Like, because she, off the bat, she goes, you guys have to sage the house, the whole house before I come in. Then you have to sage the whole house when I leave. I was like, that's a lot of saging. Like, let's just keep it outside, So it'll be a fun time because, my birthday is November 1st. So it always falls, the day after. So, I plan on waking up to some pancakes or something.
There you go. And the new music, like we said, we followed for I don't even know how many years it's been. Anywhere from 5 to 8 years. I've known your name, been playing your music. And tell us a little bit about the new single and getting some feedback out there as well.
Yeah, so the new single is called Megan. It actually came about, being a musician and working some other jobs. My wife also having numerous jobs, now added 2-year-old baby to the mix. We were literally passing ships in the night. We barely saw each other as usually hi, goodbye. And got to the point where it came to, we were going through a separation. And when the pandemic hit, it smacked us right in the face. And we had to stop everything we were doing, which was awesome because it gave us that opportunity to reconnect. It's what we needed for us to, figure out, why it is we enjoy each other's time with each other, the love that we originally had for it. And so the first month when we all just sat home, I did all the projects around the house. I was like, I got, our house is 1896. So you can imagine all the old plaster and lat and stuff like that. So I'm chipping out things and recoating it and painting and whatever else. And then our governor goes, yeah, we're going to do another 30 days. And me and her looked at each other like, no, we're not. So we packed up the car with our daughter and head down to Nashville, went to my publisher's house down there. And then we ended up down in her place down in St. Augustine, Florida. And so while we were sitting out, Megan and Remy were outside playing by the beach. And Melissa, my publisher, came up to me. She's like, I have this idea for a song. I'm like, what is it? She goes, Megan. I was like, huh? And literally the song it's the truth of our life. So when people actually now know the story behind it and they actually listen to the lyrics, like, holy shit. Like it is by far the most truthful song I've ever written, and I get all my inspiration, obviously from Megan and stuff, my family. And in there too, like one of the things we did during quarantine is we bought this YouTube channel, which was Learn How to Dance. And so she always said, I want to learn how to dance. And so in that line, I'm like, what if I held your hand more and we learned how to dance? So it's like, it's all those little things in there, which, makes it's really a truthful song.
And for you, the writing process, what's the first thing that comes to you? Is it or is it different each time?
Honestly, it's different each time. I most of the time will start like thinking of, or I'll hear somebody say something, and I'll just kind of like, oh, that could be a song title. And I'll start kind of in my head. And then if there's a guitar around me, I'll start just kind of picking the guitar and figuring out what can kind of sound good with that. A lot of times if I'm going to a co-write and we have ideas, I'll just start playing the guitar and figuring out something that how I know I want something to sound. Then we just kind of fit it to that, or we have to change it around here and there. But it's really different every single time, to be honest with you.
Has it been harder or easier this year to find the inspiration?
It's been a little harder. I've only written like 3 or 4 songs so far, which is nothing compared to what I normally sit down and write. But the ones I have written have all been like these like deep, truthful kind of stuff, just kind of like a reflection wise. But yeah, so I'm excited to get back out there and start doing some more Zooms with different artists that I've worked with in the past and see what they've, how their lives have been and kind of come up with some new ideas and pumping out some more songs as well.
How different is it doing a writing session over Zoom as opposed to in person?
The main difference is I can't give you a high five, like, yeah, what's up? It's the hardest part too is internet connection. So you'll be playing something, whatever else, somebody's typing down or writing. You're like, wait, what'd you say? Because you're not right next to the person to hear them, and it might be a lag or something like that. So I think the hardest part is, just the technology of it. There's a whole lot of different, I call it like camaraderie when you're actually in the room with the person. For the most time, every time I co-write with somebody, like we walk in the room, if I've never written with them before, we take the first 30 minutes and we get to know each other. Hey, how's your day? How's your dogs? How's the big great Dane? Stuff like that. And, then we kind of start going through the motion and kind of figuring out like, hey, I have these ideas, or we'll just be like, what about this idea? And we'll just come up with them together. So, I think it's nice to be able to do it in person, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. And now I know we talked about the new single, and I think I kind of twisted your arm and asked you if you might be willing to even play something for us today as well.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. So this is the new single. It's called Megan. find it everywhere. Right now, we're really pushing towards Spotify. We have some cool links on there. Got a new webpage built up. You know, you can be like, hey, Alexa, play Breck and Miles, and it'll pop up there, Google Play, all the good jazz. Or you just come to your podcast and listen to me play it. Perfect. All right, here it goes. I'll just start with my heart. It's where it all began. The day I laid my eyes on you, I found my best friend. But now here we are. You've got one hand on the door. I was a guy that made you smile. Now you can't take no more. But like a tidal wave, stronger than a hurricane, my love for you is just as true as it was the first day. But sometimes it feels like chasing the wind. I'm trying to hold on to you, Megan. Crowd goes wild. What if I held your hand more and we learned how to dance? Could you leave the hurt in the past, give me a second chance? Like a tidal wave, stronger than a hurricane, my love for you is just as true as it was the first day. Sometimes it feels like chasing the wind. I'm trying to hold on to you, Megan. I'm begging you to stay. Don't let a few hard years wash a lifetime away. Like a tidal wave, stronger than a hurricane, my love for you will never fade away. But sometimes it feels like chasing the wind. I'd do anything to hold on to you. Megan, she popped up. Oh, Megan. Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, I saw the look in your eye. I was like, okay, where are we going with this? That was awesome. That was perfect. That was a perfect ending to it. Now, as the single grows, how is the Zoom schedules picking up for you as well?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been awesome at the same time. This is probably the most how do I want to phrase it? Publicity I've gotten with the song. I'm working with Martha Moore and More Media. Obviously, my publisher at Rhyme Partners, and man, they are packing my schedule. I'm getting a little scared too because hunting season's coming up, and I'm like, hey guys, like, I got some other things to do. But no, it's been a blast. I have you today. I think I have one Saturday tomorrow for a little bit, and then they kind of just go throughout the week, random times. People are on the East Coast, West Coast. So it's fun. I enjoyed it. Last night I got to take over somebody else's Facebook. There's like 300,000 followers. Got to play 5 original songs on there, and so it's cool to get their fans to see me as well. So it's been a blast.
That's good stuff. And how hard is it? This is something I don't know if you've ever been asked. How hard is it for you to sing Megan with My Ugly Mug looking back at you?
Man, I was staring at your eyes the whole time. It was beautiful.
It hurts me to hear that. Now, Brecken, if folks wanted to keep up with everything you've got going on, upcoming dates as those become available, where do folks get that information as well? Right.
The best way to find all the dates is as soon as I get booked, I go right to my website now. And thank you again for Melissa and them for getting my website redone. BreckenMiles.com. It's spelled just like Colorado, BRECKENMILES. Well, that's not part of Colorado, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Pretty much, I have a TikTok now. Somebody had me get one of those, so we can TikTok and do those things or whatever. So pretty much any major social media, it's all under the name Brecken Miles, and you'll find me.
All right. Well, Brecken, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for playing a tune for us as well and introducing us to your wife.
No problem. Thank you again for having me on.
Thanks again for joining us for this 44th episode of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, question, or anything else you'd like to know, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at GQ with Cam. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, feel free to click the support tab and follow the instructions. If you have a special guest idea, feel free to email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com.